Ayush, who did this to you? Ayush, say something. Come in, let's go.
Thank you, Jim and Nadine, for your thoughts on how driving inclusion at workplace. As a quadriplegic myself, I absolutely appreciate Jim's insights to creating inclusion and workplace equity. I'm sure a lot of corporates would have benefited from Jim's valuable insights. We now move on to the next segment to hear about technology for inclusion, for which I introduce Dr. Sujata Srinivasan. Sujata Srinivasan is a professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering and heads the TTK Center for Rehabilitation Research and Device Development at IIT Madras. Her research focuses on applying mechanism design and movement biomechanics to develop functional and affordable assistive rehabilitation devices for people with movement disability. Professor Sujata has nearly 30 years of experience in her field, including 8 years in the US industry. She's a 1992 alumna of IIT Madras and joined its faculty in 2008. She has co-authored over 50 refereed journal and conference publications and is co-inventor of 29 patents. She is also the founder of NeoMotion, a startup on assistive devices incubated at IIT Madras.
Thank you, Justin, for the nice introduction. It is my absolute pleasure to be here as part of the India Inclusion Summit 2020. And my thanks to my friend Feroz for this opportunity. R2D2 stands for Rehabilitation Research and Device Development. So I head that center at IIT Madras. And today I'd like to share with you the work that we are doing on technology for inclusion. If you look at the landscape of assistive devices in India and abroad, on the one hand, you have very primitive technologies, but they're very low cost. And that's typically what is available to most people in India. At the other end of the spectrum, you have very high-tech devices. Many of them have not even made the transition from the lab to the market. And even if they are available, they are extremely expensive and very few people can afford them. So as a result, they are also not that easily accessible to people with disabilities. So there really is a big space in the middle, many challenges where we can try to create more functional devices which are still affordable. And that is the space that we work in. Even when you have the right technology, even when you have the appropriate assistive device, there are challenges to making an impact. Affordability is number one, because many people disadvantaged once they have a disability. And so the economics of the device play a large part in whether they're able to get one. Awareness is also lacking. Many people don't know what is the right kind of assistive device for them, how to get it fit properly so that they can make the most of it. So these are challenges in awareness. Access. How do you make these assistive devices available to everyone who needs them? That's another challenge. And ultimately, acceptance of the device by the user is absolutely essential for them to be able to make the most of it and for them to become contributing members of society. And here in this slide, I use eyeglasses, because we tend to forget that eyeglasses are also an assistive device. and yet they are so accepted. They are easy to access by and large, and nobody would say a one size fits all for eyeglasses. We know that it has to be customized to us. So there are lots of aspects of fitting eyeglasses that actually apply to all assistive devices. And as far as acceptance, I mean, eyeglasses are considered a style statement, not just an assistive device. So how do we do this with all assistive devices? To address affordability at R2D2, we use what is known as the grid collaboration model. We have 4 pillars of this model. G stands for the grant, which either comes from government or private CSR funding, or foundations which fund the research that we do. And they have a genuine interest to create social impact. R is the nodal research institution like ours, where we are focused on development, scientific, with a scientific basis, with a focus on the function, not the bottom line. And I stands for industry partners. They could be established industries which are willing to work with us, or it could be a startup. Again, they have an incentive to work in this model because a lot of their R&D costs are covered by the grant giving agency and the research institution's resources. D stands for the dissemination partners who are critical across the entire development cycle. They provide us the feedback from the early stages of the device development to ensure that the final product that we come up with is something that the users really want. These are also partners who will help us reach out to users after the device is developed to ensure market penetration. Our first success story with the grid model has been the IIS standing wheelchair. For the development of IIS, the Wellcome Trust provided the grant. Phoenix Medical Systems in Chennai was our industry partner, and R2D2 brought all these partners together. For dissemination, we had individual users, rehab centers, hospitals like CMC Vellore, the Association for People with Disability, Spinal Foundation, Amar Seva Sangam, a number of partners, dissemination partners, who helped with the development of this device. I'll now play a video of IIS, which will tell you a little bit more about how the device works. So IIS is a wheelchair with an integrated standing mechanism. It was developed to address the problems associated with prolonged sitting for wheelchair users. After about 5 years of development, it was launched last November, in November 2019, with our industry partner, Phoenix Medical Systems. And it's a wheelchair that enables the person to shift from the sitting to the standing position by themselves with their own effort without any external support. It enables them to be more functional, and it's also suitable for outdoor use and on uneven terrains. So the idea is to improve not just the functionality, but also the psychological aspect, the benefits of standing, provide those to wheelchair users. One of the most moving moments, the usage of IIS, was during the launch when we played the national anthem, and the IIS wheelchair users were also able to stand for the national anthem. And it was very emotional for them as well, and for all of us, because for many of them, it was the first time they were able to stand for the national anthem after their injury, some of them after many years. Typically, when we think of a wheelchair, we think one size fits all. But just like the eyeglasses I mentioned, that is so not true. So we have a startup from our lab incubated at IIT Madras called NeoMotion that has addressed this problem. So they have created these two products, NeoFly and NeoBolt. NeoFly is a fully personalized wheelchair that is prescribed after taking into account the person's health, lifestyle, and needs, environment. And NeoBolt is a very unique add-on that it's a motorized add-on that converts this wheelchair into an outdoor mobility device. So it eliminates the need to transfer to another device in order to go outdoors. And I'll let the video speak for itself.
मेरा 2011 में दोस्त के कंधे पर से गिरने के कारण मेरा शरीर पैरालिसिस हो गया था। इस व्हीलचेयर प्रयोग करने के बाद आसानी से हम कहीं भी जा सकते हैं, आ सकते हैं। हम लगभग 1 साल से काम कर रहे हैं इस प्रोजेक्ट पे।
It's the best India designed wheelchair that I've sat on in 27 years.
पहले हम व्हीलचेयर से हम जो मैराथन करते थे उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा समय लगता था। इस व्हीलचेयर के प्रयोग करने के बाद टाइमिंग है वो बहुत कम हो गया। एक गाड़ी आती है जो कि इस व्हीलचेयर में आसानी से हम सेट कर सकते हैं और गाड़ी सेट करने के बाद हम आसानी से बाहर जा सकते हैं, कम स्पेस में जा सकते हैं और कहीं भी पार्किंग कर सकते हैं और समय का बचत हो सकता है, क्योंकि अगर हम ओनली व्हीलचेयर यूज करते हैं